Hey everyone, it is Echo and I am back for another 911 Lone Star episode review. Today we're going to be talking about Season 5, Episode 11, titled Impact. And this is the second to last episode, and let's just say they are not making things easy on these characters. So as they wrap up storylines, there's a lot to talk about, so let's get started.
Hey, just stay down, bro, okay? Like, we don't even need to do this right now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to... Oh, yo.
Whoa, dude!
Get back, the both of you! You're under arrest for assault.
Dude, are you making a citizen's arrest right now?
No, I'm off duty APD.
Bro, I'm a firefighter. We're on the same side.
Well, we learned some interesting info in regards to Nancy and Mateo's relationship. How long have they been dating and they still don't even live together? I guess it's nice to set some boundaries, but maybe that's why their relationship is so strong. But wow, that is nuts. Plus, Nancy doesn't ever want to get married. I understand Nancy's point of view. Like, I definitely don't believe you need to sign a piece of paper to say you love someone. So I get that. But here they are. They want to get a plant that they will shuffle back and forth between places. But while they're getting the plant, Mateo gets into a fight with an off-duty cop over that said plant. Like, this is just so comical. But this plant altercation leads to some serious trouble for Mateo.
We take all attacks on law enforcement extremely seriously, no matter who started it.
That's crazy. I didn't know that was a cop.
Well, be that as it may, considering the severity of the incident, we've had to make a very difficult decision.
Decision? What decision?
Mateo Chavez, this letter is to notify you of the process of removal. If you leave...
So if you don't remember, Mateo is a dreamer. And because of this altercation with that asshole of a cop, he is now getting deported. Mateo has the option to leave on his own accord, which would allow him to come back to the States in a few years. Or he can be forcefully kicked out. Obviously, the best option is for him to leave. Which, I mean, if this timeline is sitting in current present day, it might not be such a bad thing to leave. The United States is practically imploding, so leaving might be beneficial. And who knows, maybe Nancy will find a way to just go with him. But with everything going on with immigration in the U.S., I am so glad to see Lone Star covering this story.
NYFD.
Is this New York trying to woo you to be their chief again?
I am officially beyond being wooed. I met with my lawyer, I went over the contract. I've accepted.
Hot damn. Congratulations, Owen.
Hey, this time, there's nothing in God's green earth that's gonna stop you from going.
Well, don't tempt him.
And big things are happening for Owen. After originally declining the job as the NYFD fire chief a few episodes earlier, so he could stay and help Judd, Judd is now in a better place and Owen is able to leave. I am very excited about this. Like, I feel it's the perfect ending for Owen's storyline. Like I mentioned in a prior episode review earlier, it would be a full circle moment for Owen. So the question now is, how is Owen going to break the news to everyone? Later in the episode, he gathers the entire 126 to break the news, but he is saved from dropping the news when an emergency alert is sent to everyone's phones. We'll talk more about that later. The one thing that baffles me, though, is why isn't Owen sitting down with TK privately to tell him? Really, that is something TK should know before everyone else. I get that TK has his own family now, but he is still Owen's son. So that's the upsetting part for me about that. Now, on to Tommy.
My girls are in Atlanta visiting their uncle for a week. Should I be calling them to come home?
I think that's...
Well, Tommy receives some bad news. The tumors have grown and one is pressing on her aorta. Like, can't the show just ever give her a break? She loses her husband, then she finds love again, only for them to break up. Then she gets cancer, and now she's going to die in like a few days? Come on, 911 Lone Star, you are killing me. I do not want to lose Tommy, and her daughters don't deserve to lose another parent. It's just so wrong. This is so heartbreaking.
I love you very much. Very much.
We love you too, Mom. Our boba order's up. We gotta go.
Okay. Hey, have fun. And don't forget to send me those selfies.
So Tommy's daughters are currently visiting with their Uncle Julius, and Tommy decides to call them, at first to tell them that they need to come home, but then she chickens out. She saw how happy they were, and she didn't want to break their hearts, which I understand, but at the same time, the daughters deserve to say goodbye. If they lose their mom but don't have the chance to say goodbye, that might eat them alive for the rest of their lives. Also, is anyone wondering why Tommy was just sent home alone? With it being possible that she's going to die in a few days, shouldn't they at least put her on hospice care? Just a question I had on that. Anyways, after the call, Tommy gets an unexpected visitor that you weren't expecting.
You gave it everything you had. You suffered so much, Tommy. You fought so hard. Now, you can rest.
Does it hurt?
Not nearly as much as living does.
Well, it was nice to see Charles again, but also not good at the same time, because Charles is dead, and he is there to bring his wife back with him. I do not like this one bit. He is helping her transition to death. He is comforting her and helping her come to terms. I just don't like where this storyline is going. This is not the ending I wanted for Tommy, but unfortunately all signs are pointing towards death. Now, let's go on and talk about our favorite couple, Tarlos.
She's going to care about all the love we have for Jonah.
I sure hope so.
I know so. This is where your brother is going to grow up. We're going to be a family.
Okay.
Okay. Now grab a hammer and work on that bookshelf.
So back in episode 9, Carlos made the decision that he was finally ready to be a father. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Carlos tell TK that. That would have been a great scene. Anyways, now they are preparing for a social worker to come to the loft, and TK is freaking out. They want to adopt TK's brother, who's currently at a boarding school in Switzerland. And TK wants everything to be perfect. Which, I mean, everything does look perfect. I love the little makeshift bedroom they are making, although if this adoption goes through, I do think it's time for them to move and buy a house. Like, Jonah may want a yard to play in, and more privacy when he goes up. Plus, Tarlos may decide to have more kids. But this bedroom is cute, and it will work for now. Anyway, sweet Carlos calms TK down and reminds TK that the social worker will be looking at all the love they have to give. For Carlos not wanting to have kids for the longest time, seeing him in love with the idea of being a family is like the cutest thing ever. I hate that we won't get to see Carlos grow into the amazing dad because the show is ending.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
What? Why not?
Your little brother has already lost both of his parents to tragic circumstances. His mother's sudden death, his father's incarceration. I can't place him in a home where both adoptive parents are involved in such dangerous work. Heroic as it may be. I'm sorry.
Well, all things were going well with the social worker. The social worker thought the bedroom was adorable, and she was totally okay with TK's past history with drugs. TK is willing to submit to random drug tests, which means that is not the problem. The problem is that their jobs are both dangerous. I knew this would be the issue. I've been calling it for weeks. They both work dangerous jobs, and they never know what is going to happen. It's unpredictable. They could leave for work and never come home. And Jonah has basically lost both his parents to tragic circumstances, and the social worker doesn't want to subject him to the possibility of losing TK and Carlos, which I understand, but this is terrible news for Tarlos, who just want to be a family with Jonah.
Like brothers?
Like brothers, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you know how in the program they say that we just got to do the next right thing. With this whole Jonah deal, just keep doing the next right thing.
So I adored the scene with Judd and TK. I'm not sure what happened with Judd from the prior episode to now, but Judd looks so much better. Like, was Grace's call the thing that changed his whole life around? Or were there some other factors in play? But he definitely looks good. And who knows, he may be ready to be the next 126 fire captain. But anyways, TK tells Judd about what happened with his social worker. And Judd tells him about being in recovery. TK had no idea. But the big thing I want to point out is Judd telling TK to keep doing the next right thing. And that next right thing for TK is he is going to quit his job. With Carlos being a Texas Ranger, I would guess he makes more money than TK. So it's fair to assume TK would be the one to stay at home with Jonah. Plus, as much as TK loves his job, I truly believe he loves his family more. And he would do anything for Jonah. Even though TK will have to walk away from his job, I don't believe for 1 second that he will regret it, as long as he gets to be a dad to his little brother.
Hey, I thought you said it wasn't hurting.
I said it was fine. I'm used to pain.
Yeah, you sound like someone who's made a habit out of it.
Yeah, not always by choice.
So I want to take it back to the very first episode of the show. In that episode, Owen, in order to convince Paul to come to Austin, says, "Somewhere out there in Austin is a kid just like you who doesn't feel accepted for who they are. And maybe one day they'll see a firefighter like you and believe that they matter." And the show has decided to fulfill this promise from the first episode to conclude Paul's storyline, and I am thrilled about it. While on a call, Paul meets a non-binary teen by the name of Jax. Jax got themselves in a tricky situation, stuck in some sort of gate door. It was apparently a challenge with their friends to see who can hang on the longest. Yeah, kinda dumb if you ask me. Jax is doing all this dangerous stuff to be seen, because after they came out, they didn't feel seen. But Paul sees them. And this leads to my personal favorite scene of the entire episode.
But believing that we do is dangerous. I just wish I had someone who would have told me that I was enough. So I'm telling you, you are enough.
Thanks. Thanks for saying that.
You're welcome.
So Paul sits Jax down and lets them know that they are seen, that they are enough, that Paul understands. Paul has been there before. And Paul even invites Jax to the firehouse. I was so emotional during the scene. Like, in a way, it felt like I was Jax. Like Paul was speaking directly to me. I wish I had a Paul when I first came out as non-binary. And I think the storyline aired at the perfect time. Our current presidential administration is attacking trans people, and it is breaking my heart. Trans people are human beings like everyone else who deserves the same rights as everyone else. So this show, to air this story on TV, felt very pivotal.
The atmosphere in about 10 seconds. God bless you all.
I'm scared, Paul.
Me too, kid. And God bless Texas.
Here it comes.
And with everything else going on, to make matters worse, there is an asteroid barreling towards Austin, Texas. That scene we just watched is everyone hiding under the fire trucks preparing for impact. The hope is that the asteroid breaks into pieces and scatters. Otherwise, if the asteroid remains intact when it hits, they are looking at complete loss of life. The city will be gone. I mean, they really want it to go out with a bang. This is absolutely crazy and insane. So after last week, here was my top 5 favorite 911 Lone Star episodes. In number 1, we had 5/8 The Quiet Ones and 5/9 Fall from Grace. In number 2, we had 417 Best of Men and 418 In Sickness and in Health. In number 3, we had 3/4 Push. In number 4, we had 4/9 Roadkill. And in number 5, we had 212 The Big Heat. And after this week, I am excited to announce that this episode has landed in my 4th place slot. I love when an episode throws curveballs and lots of emotions at us. On top of that, I got to see myself play out in this episode. It just felt right to place it in my top 5. Well guys, we only have one more 911 Lone Star left. So that means there's one more review. It has been an absolute pleasure to get to review these episodes. I have enjoyed it so much, and I'm excited for my last 911 Lone Star episode review. I got a little special surprise in store for the cast and crew. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this review. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. Thank you guys.